What started as a common goal to find the 19-year-old now has her family pitted against the Orange County Sheriff's Office.
In these type of investigations, every second matters. And the time that they needed, they just basically dropped the ball.
Right now, some of the biggest questions are focused on Armando Caballero and why he was not taken into custody. Glad you're with us tonight. I'm Matt Austin.
And I'm Lisa Bell. Orange County Sheriff John Mina confirmed Mia was found with duct tape on her mouth, hands, and feet. Her body was discovered on Saturday near the Timber Scan condos. That's 17 miles from her apartment at the Arden Villas near UCF. New video released by Mia's family today shows Caballero at the apartment complex just hours after deputies say he dumped her body. We start our team coverage tonight with News 6's Nikki Zizaza with the latest from Sheriff Mina on that video.
Lisa, Sheriff John Mina shedding more light into the investigation into the death of Miya Marcano, and he's defending his detectives, saying they put all their effort into this investigation. We've also learned that the prime suspect was waiting for Miya in her apartment when she got off from work before she vanished.
We can't begin to express the sorrow that we feel for Mia's family.
Speaking at a news conference on Wednesday, Sheriff John Mina gave an update on a case still drawing national attention while backing his department's investigation.
Our detectives are some of the best in the world, and they've interviewed every possible person that has any connection to this case that we know about.
Sheriff Mina providing more details about the death of Miya Marcano.
The person responsible for Mia's death is Armando Caballero, and although the investigation still continues, he is the only person responsible.
On the same day, cell phone video released by the family shows prime suspect Armando Caballero being questioned by police and confronted by Marcano's family about texts he had sent her.
We're going to get a police report to pull your phone records if that's the case.
At the time the video was taken, there was no basis for our deputies to detain or arrest Armando Caballero. Our deputies are not permitted to arrest or detain someone based on a hunch or based on what someone else is saying.
Adding to the family's unease, Caballero was found dead from an apparent suicide. Investigators learned he had used a master key to enter Marcano's apartment.
So there's no doubt he was waiting for her, knowing, she was going to be coming home from work.
This investigative timeline of events revealing steps taken after the 19-year-old was classified missing on September 25. After exhaustive searches, on October 2nd, human remains found in a wooded area at Timber Scan Apartments were confirmed to belong to Marcano.
The way she was found is she did have jeans on. Her shirt was taken off. She was wearing a bra. There was a robe that was on her as well.
When asked about the steps taken in the investigation into Miya Marcano's death, Sheriff John Mina said this.
She was already left dead at Timber Scan Apartments before we were ever called.
Sheriff Mina says detectives followed up on cell phone pings and put effort into all resources.
In this case, the amount of staffing and the manpower and the hours that have been put and the resources that have been put into this case are some of the most I've ever seen.
Now, the sheriff says there was no sign of a sexual assault, and he says his detectives are still searching for 2 cell phones and a set of keys. Now, as for the manner of death, he says they are still waiting for the medical examiner's report.
I think we're unique because now, as you can see, we are in a studio atmosphere. We're not in a remote atmosphere anymore. But then how do we
Okay, so welcome to my live. I am Sarah. I am going to talk about you and the timeline, with you the timeline for the Miya Marcano case. So it briefly mentioned a couple of the things that have happened in the timeline, but we're going to start with day one. On September 24th, 2021, Miya Marcano came home to prepare for a flight to go visit family in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Her family didn't hear from her. They tried calling her phone. She wouldn't answer and continued to create suspicion. It got so bad that her family eventually showed up to her house and she was not there, but they did find signs for a struggle. During that time, police did find that Armando Caballero had access to her apartment, and after repeatedly being refused and denied any relationship from Mia, he eventually went into her apartment knowing that she would be returning, and there was some sort of struggle. Mia, her friends and family said that she was the happiest person that they ever knew. And for her to fight back and struggle, and the defensive wounds that she had on her body shows that she put up a fight. I'm going to pull up something that let's see if I can find it. Give me one moment, I'm looking for it. The family speaks out about who Maya was and the things that they found. And this is before they found her body. Let me pull that up real quick.
C-A-I-L-I, last name Sue S.
Can everybody hear it?
Mia is my little cousin. Right now I'm determined, and I'm still very hopeful that we're going to find her. I'm starting to feel a little bit tired. We've been going nonstop since Friday. Not tired of searching, just physically tired. But other than that, it's really just, I'm just determined to find her. I was angry when I heard that he killed himself. I think it was a cowardly act. If you were involved in any way, we've been reaching out to so many places and so many people, asking for anyone with any information. If you saw her, if you spoke to her, if you didn't do anything, why didn't you reach out in that time? Why didn't you say something? There was contact information. Before we even left Broward County, we had already created a missing person post, and we're spreading it on social media. So that way word would get out to keep on the lookout, and hopefully we would have gotten an update on our way up. So I was really angry, especially because if he knew anything, he took that information with him. He could have told us something, given us a lead or anything. He could have just told us if he knew anything, if he had seen her, left a note. So I think it was a cowardly act, and it was disgusting. Here at this closed down Ruby Tuesday to get as many people as we know that are able, and they don't, whether they're coming up from South Florida. We have family that's coming down from Canada, family that's flown in from the islands to come look for Mia. Because there are so many of us, and we know that there are so many police that are also searching for her, we think.
I want to talk about that. So she said the island, Canada. So Mia's biological parents were from Jamaica, I want to say. Her mom was Jamaican and her dad was Canadian. But she was pretty much raised by her grandmother. So she was really close with her cousins and got to see them more than she did really anybody else. And I do want to bring up, she's going to talk about some jewelry that she wore that was torn off of her during the struggle, stuff that she never took off. She literally would sleep in, take a shower with. stuff that she just never removed. And, you know, that's when they started to really have suspicion.
The more we can get out there, the better. And we have some ideas. I heard that one of my cousins has a map and would like to just divide everyone so that we were not all searching just in one area. Or if there's a large area, we can all split up in the large area. So I'm just waiting on them to come over from the hotel. They're all just getting ready and grabbing their things. And then they're going to come over because there's also people that we're not related to that are looking for her, like her peers. Some of her neighbors came over asking, where can we help? Where can we look? Where's this search party happening? Because they did have a command center set up yesterday. They're like, I want to look for her. And I told them, you know, come back tomorrow, 8 a.m. We're going to figure out what we're going to do. So I know that there's a lot of people that are ready to look. We just have to see who they are and figure out where we're going to put them.
Can you talk to us about the what she may have told some family members or friends about this guy? And do you wish maybe more had been done if she had expressed expressed her, you know, the fact that she was uncomfortable?
Of course, if she had told me, she didn't mention anything to me, but if she had told me anything, I would have done everything that I could to find out who he is, why he's bothering her, anything like that. Some of her friends did mention that she told them that he was texting her excessively and she had asked him to stop. And he did stop, and then he started back up again. And she did tell them that he made her feel uncomfortable, but I don't know that she went to, not, I know that they're all over 18, but she didn't necessarily go to like what we would consider a real adult, somebody like a person of authority, maybe her manager, or even talking to me, to her dad, to any of us, because we would have done something to, even if it had been, you know, we're going to come up here and just talk to him ourselves and say, what's going on? Why won't you bother her? Or bring her home, anything like that.
So you don't know if she spoke to a manager or anything like that?
No, I'm not sure.
Talk to us about the last time.
When you're a certified management accountant, CEOs will do.
Sorry about that, guys.
I Snapchat Mia every morning and she snaps me back. We say good morning, use whatever sticker is available on Snapchat that morning. Usually talk about dreading having to go into work, and she's always like, I hate being an adult. And I'm like, you're barely an adult. You can't hate it already. She was kind of having a hard time at work. She didn't necessarily specify. They were short staffed. There was a lot going on, and with that, management was under a lot of pressure. And so she would always say that she's like, I don't want to go to work today. I'm just tired. I'm tired of working and whatever. So throughout the day, we usually Snapchat kind of at those like milestone things, or if something happens. So it's good morning. This is what I'm eating for breakfast. Oh, this is what I'm eating for lunch. What are you up to? What are you doing? And if my nephew is with me, I always send her snaps of him. She loves my grandma. So if Nana's doing anything in the yard or says anything funny, it's updates all throughout the day. So when I went to do my nails in the late afternoon, evening, I did send her a Snapchat because I was walking when I got dropped off to do my nails, and I was walking home. Typically I have my car, but we're down a car in our family. So I knew that she would think that was comical, because any type of thing that's out of the ordinary for me, she's just like, these things only ever happen to you. So I sent her a Snapchat because I was like, hey, look at me. I'm walking home from doing my nails. Have you ever seen this before? And she didn't answer. At that time, it was still when she should have been at work. So I didn't think it was that strange. I was like, maybe she's just busy at work, but I'll hear from her soon. And I didn't. So then I figured maybe she's just busy because it was Friday. She could have been planning to go out. She could have been doing anything. But then my aunt reached out and asked if I had heard from her. And she did let me know at that point that she was supposed to be flying home and she hadn't heard from her yet. So I said, okay. And we just started to kind of figure things out. But in that moment, when my aunt called me, her voice was a little bit shaky, and she did say, she said, I think something's wrong. And we're a family that we have a lot of faith, and we're very spiritual. We believe in, you know, like feeling things. We trust our gut. And especially when it comes from an aunt, from a mom, from a grandmother. If we're going, oh, I'm going on a trip, and my grandma says, I had a bad dream, I'm not going on a trip anymore. It's canceled, because I know that that's like some type of bad vibe, bad energy. So when my aunt, she always has very strong feelings about a lot of things. Not only Mia, but she's very deeply connected to Mia. That's Mia's grandmother. They speak all day long. If she's not in constant communication with her dad, she's always talking to her grandma, to her mom, to her brother, to me. So when she told me that, that's when I started to feel a little bit of a heaviness, because of course we wanted to think that maybe Mia's phone just died or she just fell asleep or something. But when she mentioned that, she said, okay, we're gonna figure something out. Let's see, maybe funny. And it's so funny seeing so many people share pictures of her that I may have seen before, but seeing pictures of her when she was little, and she's always been joking. I'm always in tears laughing with her all the time. Like, it's so bad that my mom and my sister sometimes they're like, okay, if we're going to stay somewhere in a hotel, they're like, you guys have to have your own space because I can't deal with the giggling, because we're always laughing.
How's grandma, mom, and dad, aunt?
They're still very hopeful, and they're also determined to find her. And they, like, I feel like right now they're just like, what else can we do? We're working with the police and asking them, what areas can we check, how can we help you help us?
The flight Friday, was it to go home to visit family?
Yes.
It
It wasn't planned far in advance. In the week, Mia had reached out to her grandmother and to my cousin. She also reached out to me, asking if we wanted to come to Orlando to come visit her. At first, I didn't think anything of it, because more recently she did tell me that she was missing home a little bit and that she felt like she was missing out on a lot with my nephew, her godson. He's 1 year old, and just seeing him develop so quickly, she's like, I feel like I'm missing out on Enzo. So some of them did reach out saying no. She told us that she spoke to her early in the day and that they were making plans to possibly go out. And yeah, she's been very helpful in this as well. She was the one who gave us access to her apartment when we got here, and that was at 3 o'clock in the morning. I was in constant communication with her as well. As soon as my aunt reached out to me, I reached out to her on Instagram. I said, hey, have you heard from Mia? She said, no, not since earlier, but I'm at work. And I said, okay, can you let me know when you get home, just in case maybe she fell asleep or something? And she said, yes, absolutely. And she did let me know when she got home. And then when we made it here, she came back to let us into the apartment. I'm sorry? She has one roommate.
When you went to the apartment, had the police already been there?
They had.
And what did it look like to you?
It looked like, it didn't look like there was any investigation done.
But had it look like there? I know, I think her dad told me it looked like there was a struggle. Is that how it looked to you?
So to get into her room, you need a key fob. And so it didn't look like there was any forced entry from the front door. However, when we went into her bedroom, which has another lock on it, but it was open, Mia has significant pieces of jewelry that she wears all of the time. She doesn't ever take them off. Even if it doesn't go with what she's wearing this jewelry. She has a necklace with a nameplate that says her name. And she has another necklace that her dad and stepmom got for her that has it's gold and it has a heart charm on it. When we walked into the room, the heart charm chain was on the ground and it was broken. It wasn't like it was like the clasp was open, it was just broken. And then Mia's room is always meticulous. Our family is very serious about cleaning and making sure that you make your bed every day. Her grandma has instilled that in her, and she always makes her bed. I helped her to pick out the decorations for her room this year. So I bought the majority of the stuff in her room for her. And I knew what her bedroom looked like. I bought it for her and then she just paid me back, but we coordinated so I could decorate it for her. And she sent me a video and a picture. She said, look at my room, at her pillows. She had, like, of course, your sleeping pillows and your decorative pillows. And then most importantly, Teddy.
That face that is usually covered by her phone has finally made an appearance.
Her little teddy bear who goes everywhere with her. Teddy goes with her to work. Teddy goes with her on vacation. Teddy's gone on vacation with other people when he needs time for himself. Teddy is a
You're sitting here telling me you can't hear, and you definitely can't hear me. We'll have to redo this then. So essentially they found Caballero's body on September 27th. After they found, like, literally within hours, they found his body after they had found the evidence that tied him to Mia's murder. The apartment complex should have never had him hired in the first place. He did have a record already. He had also not been hired properly from the apartment complex and was hired as like a backdoor deal. Another thing was Maya worked at the front desk of the apartment complex and was an intake manager. In April of 2021, Caballero also threw a 5-pound dumbbell through the window of a apartment of another woman that refused him in his advances. So, I mean, if the apartment knew about this, why would they keep him there? Knowing that he's caused them to lose money and business, because the woman moved out immediately afterwards because she felt threatened and scared. So, I mean, who would do that? On September 27th, they found Caballero dead by suicide, hanging in his garage in Volusia County. Oh, I'm sorry, Seminole County. Search teams began to do manual foot searches throughout the area, searching for Mia and any evidence that they could find. On September 30th, they expanded that search out to New Smyrna off of tips of seeing Caballero's vehicle. Eventually, October 2nd, they did find Mia's body bound by black duct tape, her arms, her legs, and duct tape over her mouth with her shirt removed. Although the medical examiner did say that he did not believe that there was any sexual assault involved. It's really, really upsetting when this family was so hopeful, had so much faith that they would, get to see Mia again, and that they knew she was a fighter, she was going to make it, that she was just hiding away somewhere, trying to get away from what was going on. And unfortunately, that was not the case. I'm reading my notes. Caballero actually worked at 2 other complexes before he worked at the complex that Mia lived at. And he was fired from both of those because of sexual harassment and advancements. So you'd think, like, how's this guy still working at places like this, still allowed to have access to these women's apartments, to their homes, to their bedrooms, like complete access. And that it still amazes me. I am going to put something in here. Anybody want to come up? If you just click this link in the chat, it'll bring you right on and you can join the discussion if you have any questions or, have a take on how you feel about this, or how this happened. Feel free to add. Okay, well, I think this will be it. And this was just a quick learning experience because I was muted there for a while, but gotta learn the kinks and figure it all out, huh? So thank you again for joining me, and have a wonderful day.